Pops it up. Shallow right center. Waiting for it is the center fielder, Paul Blair, who yelled second baseman Dave Johnson off.
Kurt, this is Linda Wehrheim, the only female member of the ground crew, and when they sweep off the bases and also clean off the infield, Linda goes over, and normally she kisses the third base coach. Every once in a while, she'll take that broom and she'll hit the third base coach right in the back. But she did the delightful thing. She kissed him.
Ball one to Don Clendenin, who's walked and homered. Been on base 4 times now in these first 2 games. The third base coach was Eddie Yost with the Mets. Ground ball to second. A big hop to Dave Johnson, and the Mets are quickly out 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th inning. At the end of 5.5 innings, the score, the New York Mets 1 and the Baltimore Orioles nothing.
Hey, boy, that's a guy.
What's wrong, officer?
Boy, you in a heap of trouble. Violation City Orders 11-14, operating a racing type vehicle inside the city limits.
Oh, officer, this is the new Dodge Challenger RT. It's not a racer.
Ain't I? What kind of tires, them, boy?
Optional TTs.
Racing tires. Them stripes, there, boy, what you call those?
Racing stripes.
I suppose that's a reconverted lawnmower motor.
Optional 440 Magnum V8.
What's that doohickey in there, boy?
Oh, that's a new optional slapstick racing shift. So look, it's got concealed wipers, and it's got dual headlights. And you don't find that on any racer, do you?
Careful, boy. Our bookkeeper's that's a law officer.
If you can handle the way people react to your 1970 Dodge Challenger, you could be Dodge material.
Now, look, boy.
Well, baseball capping off a record season with innovations this year, new divisional play, championship series playoffs, and its all-time attendance record. And culminated in the World Series here with Game 2 in Baltimore, moving on to New York Tuesday afternoon at Shea Stadium. Gentry for the Mets, Palmer for the Orioles. And we'll be on the air on NBC at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time next Tuesday afternoon. Mark Belanger, the last of the 6th inning, flied out his first time. And Kuzman dropped that curve in. He's had a fastball, a curve, and a changeup. Belanger finished strong. The fastball is slide to right. Swoboda, 1 down. And let's see, Swoboda now has had 4 putouts. And 11 in a row now have gone down. Since Dave Johnson walked in the second, he's the only man to reach base so far for the Orioles. Dave McNally getting a hand as he comes up. Kuzman, by the way, has delivered only 51 pitches in this game. Foul back. New York leading 1-0. Last of the 6th inning. Ball 1 strike one. The Orioles didn't hit much the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year. There's Don Buford on deck. They had 2 tight games against Minnesota in their championship series. They've scored 11 runs in their 3rd game. The 1-1 pitch. Ball 2. 2-1 to Dave McNally. Kuzman, 25 years old. Blew the fastball by. 2-2. Right back to the box. And they're 2 down here in the last of the 6th inning. At the top of the order we go now, and Don Buford, who struck out swinging in the first, line to short, robbed of a base hit in the 3rd by Bud Harrelson. Buford a switch hitter.
Number 9, Don Buford.
Two down, nobody on. Buford trying to bunt his way on. Strike 1 to him. All Blair on deck. We talked about Tom Agee leading his club in RBIs. Buford had 64 runs batted in this year. 1-1 to him. So we have 2 leadoff men in this World Series, both outstanding and driving in runs, hitting in that leadoff spot. The 1-1 pitch. Change up, bounce to short. Bad hop. Harrelson handles it, throws him out. And for the first 6 innings of this game, Jerry Koosman has pitched a no-hitter. At the end of 6, the score, the New York Mets 1 and the Baltimore Orioles nothing.
What man can resist it? The clean, crisp aroma of ocean surf. Get it in new Gillette Foamy Surf Spray Shaving Cream. A new fragrance, like the refreshing spray of a breaker. The foamy crispness of ocean whitecaps. If you've ever enjoyed the refreshing scent of ocean spray on your skin, you know what to expect in new Foamy Surf Spray by Gillette. Take the plunge today.
Car makers test their cars on roads. Gillette tests their razors on faces. We designed the Gillette Techmatic for faces like this, with a razor band that's less likely to nick as it takes the curves. Light to ride gently over life's little potholes. The revolutionary Gillette Techmatic. Take it for a test shave.
Let's go down to Tony.
Thank you, Kurt. Got Mickey Mantle down here, and Mick, it looks like Jerry Koosman is throwing the ball right by these Orioles hitters.
Well, he has real good stuff. I guess he's got a no-hitter up until right now, and from down here he looks a lot better than he did. I was out in the truck, in the NBC truck, watching him a while ago, and he looks a lot better from here than he did out there.
He's got a pretty good curveball too.
He has. He's got good stuff, and he's not getting them anything good to hit, and this is a tough ballpark to score in anyway. So it looks like it might be a long day for the Orioles.
Mickey Mantle, thank you so much. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, the Mets in the 7th. Leonhardt warming up. Dave Leonard warming up. That's the first warm-up action we've had. We need a bullpen today. Strike 1 to Sloboda, fouled out and struck out. Sloboda being played deep. Couple of strides toward left. 1 strike. 1-1. Koosman sailing along, and McNally now, since Clendenon homered, has retired 9 in a row. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball's inside, 2-1. Ron Sloboda. Three and two. Nobody on, nobody out. On deck, Ed Charles. Fly ball to deep right. Frank Robinson. Back by the wall. Boy, what plays we've had today.
Kurt, Frank had a little bit of trouble with the sun and with the high sky of which is close, but he had the ball in range all the way. And, of course, Frank knows how to play right field. He knew he had room going back against the fence, and then just banged a little hard into the fence, but kept the ball in the glove all the way.
Ed Charles hit into a forced play and grounded to short. 35-year-old infielder takes ball one. Like to read some of his poetry. They say it's good. One out, nobody on. Lashes it down the left field line. This may be for extra bases. Buford playing the carom off the wall, and into second is Ed Charles with a double. Well, the Mets now have 3 hits. The Orioles no hits. They catcher the Mets, Dave Grody, fly to center. Hit a slow roller to Brooks Robinson and made another one of his special plays on. Nally had retired, 10 in a row. Now the Mets are threatening here in the top of the 7th. Check swing foul. Paul Blair out in center field playing all these hitters shallow. We'll get a shot of him here in a moment. The one strike pitch. All 1 strike one. There he is. He has confidence in his ability to go back.
Kurt, there even have been times when Yastrzemski has been in this ballpark where Blair has played that shallow and then gone right to the fence to take away home runs from Yastrzemski, even playing that shallow.
1 ball, 1 strike. Brody hit the foul up in the seat. The Mets had a big delegation here that in the top of the 7th came up for the 7th inning stretch. And most of the Mets fans are in back of the Mets dugout, first base way. Dave McNally from the Big Sky Country, Montana. One ball, 2 strikes. High fly in a shallow center. Belanger, the shortstop, calling for this one, and they're 2 down. Montana not only the Big Sky Country, but some blue ribbon trout streams out there, too. Al Weiss is singled and struck out.
Kurt, you do a lot of fishing. Is that Snake River a good spot to fish? Have you ever fished there?
I fished the Snake. It's very good. But they have Rock Creek and the Yellowstone and the Jefferson and the Missouri. They're going to put Weiss on. And they'll pitch to Jerry Kuzman. The Mets will have runners on first and second. This is the 3rd walk by Dave McNally. The Mets are leading 1-0 here in the top of the 7th. I forgot the big hole, too. It's another great stream. Gary Kuzman getting a big hand for his brilliant pitching here today.
Number 36, Gary.
He's a lifetime 062 hitter. There's a home of Kuzman, the banner. Morse, Minnesota. His father is sitting out in that delegation. The delegation is 12. Kuzman has struck out twice. Ground ball to second. Johnson's throw to Powell, and the Mets are out in the top of the 7th. No runs, 1 hit. There were no errors and 2 men left. At the end of 6 1/2, it's New York 1 and Baltimore nothing.
This Commerce Passbook guarantees you're getting the highest savings account interest available at chartered banks in Canada, 6.5%. What can a Commerce savings account do for you? It can put you in the sun country for a week and buy you 6.5% more sun. It can let you put a ring on someone you love and buy you 6.5% more diamonds. It can give you extra money to help raise a family and buy you 6.5% more peace of mind. And even if you never have to touch your account, it can buy you 6.5% more security. So what can a Commerce savings account do for you? It can buy you 6.5% more of everything. Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, one of the world's great banks.
Tony Kubek again.
Thank you, Kurt. Down here with me, Joe Garagiola, one of the funniest people anywhere, not just in baseball. Joe, who's been firing the ball by everybody?
I tell you, he makes the catcher look awful smart by the way he's pitching. He's changing speeds, and the toughest job for any catcher today is to remember what finger he puts down because he's not going to make any mistakes. I think his ability to change speeds has made his fastball so effective, and he's just been a tremendous pitcher, obvious by the scoreboard.
Joe, being based in New York, you've had a chance to see this Mets ball club all year long. They do have more than just pitching, don't they?
No question about it. I think they've got good defense, and they don't make that many mistakes. They don't beat themselves. They make you lose to them.
Plus, they've got a good tallier leading them, Gil Hodges.
Gil Hodges, and I can't forget my man at first base, Yogi. He's a secret weapon.
Speaking of Joe Garagiola, thank you so much. Right now, let's go on back upstairs.
Joe will be on the Today Show Monday morning and through the week covering the World Series for NBC. Game 3 will be on Tuesday on NBC starting at 12:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Ball Blair, strike one, hard. Blair slide to left and pops up. World Series report starts at 12:30 with Sandy Koufax, Mickey Mantle, and Jimmy Simpson. Frank Robinson on deck, and then Powell. Curve. There's the first base hit of the game for the Baltimore Orioles. Kuzman loses his no-hitter. Now the big boys are coming up for the Orioles, Robinson and Powell. Gary Kuzman had set down 13 Orioles in a row since Johnson walked in the second. Paul Blair, good base runner, first base. He stole 20 bases out of 26 attempts back this last year. They're deep and straight away for Robinson. Foul ball back. He nearly put one out in the first with a long drive to right center. That forced Swoboda up against the fence. And he grounded out in the fourth to short. He's smart at that plate. He likes to guess with that pitcher, wait for his pitch. That's why he has so many check swings. One strike to him. That's what he does. The only man to ever hit a ball out of this ballpark, completely out of it, is at the plate right now, Frank Robinson. 66 seasons. Ball two. He hit one over the left field grandstand. Just, you see that sign right up on that pennant, right over that back wall. What a terrific shot that was. The only man to ever do it in this ballpark. There's a line drive to center. Tom Agee's there for it. One away. Paul Blair scooting back to first. The New York Mets are leading 1-0. In the last half of seventh, and Bruce Powell coming up and struck out and grounded out. For a fellow that has such a big swing and hits with such power, he makes contact at 3:04 for the season. The Orioles Orioles are warming up Tom Phoebus in their bullpen. Powell got a big hit for the Orioles this year in the ninth inning of the opening game against Minnesota in the playoffs. He had a leadoff homer to tie the game. The curve, fly ball down the right field line is foul. He didn't have a good swing on that. He was fooled. Early in the year, Powell was lunging a lot. On the baselines, he got into a collision with Tommy Fresh, hurt his hip, cut down in his swing, and helped his batting average. A one-strike pitch. Outside to him, 1-1. On deck is Brooks Robinson. All Blair at first, one out. Mets are leading 1-0. Again, a sidearm breaking pitch at him, fooled. Fouls are back at 1-2. Kuzman's coming in there sidearm to him. One ball, two strikes. Pops it up. Bud Harrelson, the Mets shortstop, waiting for it. Squeezes it out, number 2. And here's Brooks Robinson. Well, so far, the Mets pitchers are taking care of Robinson and Powell in this series. Brooks Robinson, 0 for 2. Kuzman finished strong for the Mets this year. He had a 5-game winning streak at the end of the season. He was knocked out in Atlanta in Game 2 in their championship series. But he's bounced back today with a brilliant effort. The curve is a strike. Fastball, third, changeup, mixing them up. Brooks failed to hit yesterday. He's 0 for 6 so far after getting 7 for 14 against Minnesota. You know, he knocked in 84 runs during the year. When you consider hitting behind Powell and Robinson, who cleaned the bases a lot. It's quite an RBI total. There goes the runner. The throw by Brody. Blair steals second.
Blair with a pretty good jump on Kuzman. Blair had 20 steals just in under the sag and inside.
Now the Orioles have the tying run at second, 2 down. The 1-1 pitch to Brooks Robinson. Base hit. This is going to be a tie game. Going in the scores, Paul Blair, and it's 1-1. Single, a stolen base, and a single have given the Orioles their first run. Dave Johnson has walked and flied to right. Ruled in the curve, and Robinson gets back to first. No action right now in the Mets bullpen. One run, 3 hits for the Mets. 1 run, 2 hits for the Orioles. Curve again, it's the ball. 1-1. brilliant play in the game. Sensational infielding today on the part of both ball clubs.
Here comes now the fourth brilliant play we've had by infielders. Charles got his glove down just in time. He had the glove down, the ball right in the glove, then he had to straighten up and makes a strong throw over to first base. Over to second base, rather, for the fourth play.
So the score at the end of 7 innings is tied. New York 1 and Baltimore 1.
There is a place that never sees the sun, half a mile down in the hard rock core. And it's worked by bold men who take the deep run down where the earth is rich laden with ore. This is where hardy men dig as a team at back-breaking labor down deep in the seam. It's dark and it's wet and they sweat for their pay, but they're satisfied men at the end of the day. And then their reward is an O'Keefe ale. It's bolder than the rest. Yes, O'Keefe is the hearty ale these men enjoy. O'Keefe ale satisfies best. O'Keefe ale, the right ale for right now.
We pause now for station identification. This is the CBC Television Network.
In the top of the 8th inning, Tom Agee up with a count 2-1. Hit hard to short. Mark Belanger over the blue foul. There's 1 out. Dick Hall, a right-hander, warming up. Right after today's World Series game, stay tuned for American Football League action. You'll see one of the following games, either New York Jets at Cincinnati, Houston at Kansas City, or Oakland at Denver. Bud Harrelson bounced to the pitcher, walked and fouled to the catcher. 0-2. Foul ball down the third baseline. Pitching and defense have sparkled today on both clubs. On deck is Cleon Jones. One ball, 1 strike. One out, nobody on. Brooke Robinson to his left. He's got him. We're down. The human vacuum.
Kurt Belanger was in position to get the ground ball, but Brooks cut right in front of Belanger. He had the glove down just like Charles did, and then he had to hurry his throw to first base to just get the runner by 2 steps.
You can see why Brooks Robinson says, I go all right to my left. I have a little trouble to my right. Cleon Jones fouled out, lined out to left field in the 3rd, flied out to center in the 6th.
Kurt, the one fundamental that Brooks Robinson talks about to youngsters during special baseball clinics, the first thing he mentions is when the ball comes off the bat, he tells youngsters, get the glove down, get the glove down.
Now with 2 down and nobody on, Robinson plays over and guards the third base line. First strike to Jones. Has to keep a ground ball or a line drive from going down there for extra bases with 2 away. He's won the Golden Glove Award 9 years in a row for the top fielding third baseman in the nation. American League. 1 ball, 1 strike. Score tied 1-1 in the top of the eighth. The curve is ball 2 to Cleon Jones, 2-1. There's Don Clendenin on deck. Curve, strike 2. The Orioles have the bottom of the order coming up in the last of the eighth. Echeverrin, Belanger, and McNally. Dick Hall's warming up in the Oriole bullpen, which means we may have a pinch hitter for McNally. We'll wait and see what happens. The 2-2 pitch to Cleon Jones. Foul. This boy wound up as the third leading batter in the National League. Year before, he ranked 6th in batting. Looks like he'll be up there in that top 10 for years to come. The 2-2 pitch, fouled off. Two down, nobody on. 2-2 to Cleon Jones. Fly ball to deep right. Frank Robinson drawing a beat on it. And the Mets are out 1-2-3 in the top of the eighth inning. At the end of 7.5, the game is tied 1-1.
Sport Truck 70, presented by your Dodge and Fargo dealers in the belief that a pickup should not live by hard work alone. Dodge and Fargo Sport Trucks with cushion beam suspension. Put one in a fun situation and just watch. It'll handle the good times with the same enthusiasm it tackles the tough jobs. Now, we aren't suggesting a Sport Truck handles better than a Challenger, but it does handle better than any other pickup on the road or track, and the ride is very smooth. That's cushion beam suspension at work. Sport Truck is one of the most comfortable vehicles you can own. Engines up to 383 cubic inches. Automatic, 3-speed or 4-on-the-floor if you choose. On the Adventurer, you'll find wood grain trim, padded buckets, and almost any option you'd put on a car. Sport Truck 70, responsive, agile, comfortable. Sport Truck 70, even more fun as an adventure-seeking camper special. Sport Truck 70 from Dodge and Fargo. Very hard to beat.
Cincinnati, birthplace of professional baseball, was also the site of the first World Series game. Chester Allen Arthur was president of the country when on October 6, 1882, the Chicago Colts National League champs clashed in an unauthorized series with the Cincinnati Red Sox. Way back to 1882. And of course, this is baseball's centennial year. Andy Echeverrin is fly to center and fly to right. Ball 1. On deck is Mark Belanger. Then the pitcher, Dave McNally. Line drive. One away. Al Weiss making the play. We've had a lot of balls hit hard, even though it's a 1-1 ball game. Mark Belanger fly to center and fly to right. Manager Earl Weaver says that Dave Johnson hitting number 7 at a 280 average and this boy hitting 287 meant 15 games in the standings for the Orioles. The strike down at the bottom of the order. Yesterday, the bottom of the order helped the Orioles come up with that 3-run inning. One strike to Belanger. Curve is over, strike 2. The National League umpires work a little bit different than the American League umpires in their position behind the catcher. Right. And now look, on a right-handed batter, Belanger's out. The National League umpire's on the inside of the catcher. The left-hander on the other side. The American League umpire stands directly in front of the catcher. Dave McNally, with 2 down, nobody on, will hit for himself. Gets a big ovation here from these fans in Baltimore. McNally is struck out and grounded out to the pitcher. They're playing him shallow and over toward right. It hit late. So he flies to deep left. Going back is Leon Jones on the warning track for the out. McNally nearly reached the fence with that one. He fooled everyone. 3 up and 3 down. At the end of 8 innings, the game is still tied. New York 1 and Baltimore 1.
Yes, come on.
Samurai warrior, why do you be so unhappy?
Once have good job. Then shave with Gillette spoiler with miracle plastic cutting so edge of cold steel not touch face for many shaves.
Also,
No, now I'm spoiled. Never can face cold steel again.
I advise to make love, not war.
That's a good idea.
Do you mean that we're sharing the same cabinet with the man in 2C?
That's 2D, Mona.
And he flings open the door and starts...
He tells me about his regular right guard and how one shot lasts him all day.
And he just stood there?
No, I told him about our right guard antiperspirant and how it stops odor and helps keep us dry.
Oh, wait. Good morning. Hi. Hey. Oh, you're beautiful.
Two kinds of people, two kinds of right guard.
Her finger was in the door.
Together with Kurt Galley, this is Bill O'Donnell at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium, and a reminder that on Tuesday, the World Series moves to New York's Shea Stadium, where the amazing Mets fans who filled the park to the tune of almost 2,200,000 paid admissions this year welcome home one of the great Cinderella teams in modern baseball. And that should be a great ball game. You'll see it all happen on NBC beginning at 12:30, 11:30 Central Time, Tuesday. Here's Kurt Galley.
Don Clendenin has walked, hit a home run to right in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th. Fouls it away. Frank Robinson's having some troubles with his left leg. I think he hurt it bumping into the wall on a catch earlier in the game, and they've been working on him in the Baltimore dugout. I think it's his left leg. He might have bruised it. Clendenin, Swoboda, and Charles for the Mets here in the top of the 9th. Strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. McNally has struck out 6, walked 3, given up 3 hits. Kuzman's allowed only 2 hits. And on deck, Ron Swoboda. Out of play. Our statistician has, during our regular Game of the Week series through the summer, here in the World Series is Alan Ross and our state manager, Jim O'Gorman. One ball, 2 strikes to Don Clendenin. Well, the crowd was even had some fun body English going on that one behind home plate, all leading into the strike zone. Ball 2-2. Nobody on, nobody out in the top of the ninth. The game is tied 1-1. Seven strikeouts for Dave McNally. Ron Swoboda has fouled out, struck out, and flied out.
Number 4, Ron Swoboda.
Fairly good breeze has sprung up now and is blowing from first base towards third. See a little factor here somewhere. One out, nobody on. Right on the letter. Frank Secore, umpiring in his fourth World Series. Fouls a curve off, and the count is 0-2. The Mets threaten in the seventh, and McNally set him down in order in the eighth as the first man out here in the ninth. As the head on the count is Swoboda with Charles on deck. Ball 1. This has to be one of the best defensive World Series games ever played. We just had one corking play after another one by both clubs. The 1-2 pitch. Ground ball, Boog Powell off the bag. McNally will cover. 2 down. You know, Powell's an underrated first baseman, isn't he, Bill?
Most people, when they look at a big man, Kurt, they figure, he doesn't cover too much ground and he's slow. But Powell, although he's 245 to 250 pounds, has fine reflexes, and he's very mobile for a big man, and he proved that mobility getting backhanded to that ground smash.
2 down, Ed Charles up. Grounded into a fourth play. Grounded to short and double the left. And once again, Brooks Robinson moves over on top of that third base line. With 2 down. And a tie game here in the ninth inning. It's a third strike for Charles. Charles does something. Jerry Grody would be up next. Looking ahead to the Orioles ninth, they have the top of the order up. Buford, Blair, and Frank Robinson. 0-2. The Mets are warming up. Tug McGraw in their bullpen. Two-strike pitch. Bounding ball into left field. Charles has his second hit in a row. Buford throws into Dave Johnson. Now the Mets have 4 hits, the Orioles 2 hits, and Jerry Grody the batter. Fly to center, rolled out to third, and popped to short. Fastball strike to Grody. Charles stole only 4 bases in the year. No balls, 1 strike. Curve is inside to him. 1-1. Ed Charles at first, 2 away. Pitch got away from him. We pause briefly for station identification. Kurt Gowdy and Bill O'Donnell back here in Memorial Stadium, Baltimore. 2 down, game tied 1-1, top of the ninth, and Tony Kubek in the stand. The 2-1 pitch, foul down the first baseline. Notice those insignias on top of the visitors' dugout, representing each club of the American League. Two and two to Jerry Grody. There goes Charles. There's a base hit to left. Charles is coming around the third. The throw goes into second. And the Mets have runners on first and third. So after 2 out, nobody on, successive singles by Charles and Grote. They had Charles running on the pitch, and he got over to third. And now George Bamberger, the Oriole pitching coach, is going to the mound. There's nobody warming up right now in the Oriole bullpen. He may just be coming out to talk to McNally. If you bring a right-hander on to Weiss, the Mets would undoubtedly shift to their left-handed hitters. And the left-handed hitters who haven't played in the first 2 games of the series were red hot against Atlanta.
Kurt, although these 2 clubs are playing each other for the first time, both clubs have personnel that have told their managers and the rest of their ball players about the strengths and weaknesses of the opposition. For example, Tommy Agee and Al Weiss of the Mets have both played in the American League and both played for the White Sox, and they know quite a bit about the Orioles. And 2 of the members of the Orioles, a relief pitcher, Dick Hall, and also a utility catcher, Clay Dalrymple, both played with the Phillies, so they know quite a bit about the Mets.
After Bamberger went back to the Orioles dugout, the sign went out to the Orioles for warm-up action. It's Dick Hall warming up again now. There's a base hit to left. Coming in to score Charles, and the Mets take the lead 2-1. 3 hits in a row for the Mets. Al Weiss coming through with a big hit here with 2 down in the top of the ninth. And Gary Kuzman's up now. Kuzman has struck out twice and grounded out. Jerry Grody stopped at second. Runners on first and second, 2 down. The Mets now have 2 runs, 6 hits. The Orioles 1 run, 2 hits. Nothing in 1 to Kuzman. That's the lead runner, Grody at second. There's Al Weiss at first. He's been on base 3 times today. A .215 hitter has driven in the lead run. Hitting in the number 8 spot. Etchebarren blocks it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Weiss drove in the only run for the Mets yesterday. One ball, 1 strike to Jerry Kuzman, who's going to come out and face the top of the Baltimore batting order in the last of the 9th inning. Buford, Blair, and Frank Robinson. Foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. On deck, Tom Agee at the top of the order. Two and two. Well, the bottom of the order has done it for the Mets here in the top of the 9th. The 2-2 pitch. Slow roller. Belanger charging. Throws him out. But the Mets had 1 run, 3 hits in a row. There were no errors and 2 left. We're going to the last of the 9th inning with a score: New York 2 and Baltimore 1.
If you don't have a personal checking account at the Bank of Commerce, here's what you're missing out on. A wallet like this, embossed in gold. A checkbook, your own personal checkbook to go inside it. A little book that lets you keep an up-to-date record of your account instantly. At the end of the month, you automatically receive a statement showing everything you've spent. And just to show you where you spent it, the Commerce mails back your canceled checks. A Commerce personal checking account is the most convenient way there is to run your family's finances. And believe me, running a family can be a big business.
Annual report.
Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, one of the world's great banks.
Gary Koosman just walking to the mound, getting a hand from some of the fans, and let's quickly go down to Tony Quebec.
Thank you, Kurt. With me once again, Mickey Mantle. Mickey, I have not seen very many World Series games where there were more great defensive plays made.
Well, I haven't either, Tony. I think that Brooks Robinson's made some of the best plays I've ever seen. Them plays where he comes running in along the infield there and grabs that ball and throws it on a dead run like that. I've seen him play a long time, but he still amazes me every time I see him.
Mick, you know what Al Weiss just did a moment ago in getting that clutch base hit has been typical of this Mets ball club all year long. It's always somebody different.
I know it just seems like whenever they have to have a hit like that, they get one. It's going to be tough for the Orioles to score. It looked like the wind was changing for a while, but it's blown in from right field. If they get a hit one, they have to hit it over the left field fence.
Mac, thank you so much. Right now, let's go on back upstairs.
Don Buford leads off for the Baltimore Orioles in the last of the 9th. He is struck out, lined to short, and grounded out. He'll be followed by Blair and Frank Robinson. Gary Koosman had a no-hitter for 6 innings. The first hit off him was by Blair in the 7th. Brooks Robinson singled Blair in, and those have been the only 2 hits in the game. For the Orioles, here's the pitch. Ball 1 to Buford. Foul back. And right in our NBC telecasting booth for another souvenir. The Mets have an active bullpen. Tug McGraw, left-hander. Taylor, a right-hander, warming up. 1-1 pitch. Pop-up into right center. Swoboda calling for it. And there's 1 out. Swoboda's had 5 putouts today in right field. Well, so far, the Orioles have had their fewest hits in any game this season. Twice they were held to 3 hits during the year. They've had only 2 hits today. Paul Blair, fly to left, pops up and single. The Orioles have had an incredible home record this year. They won 63 and lost only 21 here all year. Koosman's curve hangs outside for him. Ball 1. He's had a live fastball today, a good curve, and then he's changed up, mixed them up. Sharp control. Ball 2, 2-0. He's walked only 1 man. On deck, Frank Robinson. That was Dave Johnson in the 2nd. Foul back. Mets are leading 2-1, last of the 9th. Outside of that 1 walk, Koosman's had only 2 3-2 counts in the game. Now he's 3-1 for Paul Blair. Frank Robinson to follow, and then Boog Powell. Strike two. It's an interesting thing to look at the infield. Ed Charles is right on the third base line, and so is Don Clendenin. They don't want anything to go down that line for extra bases. That's Charles. Look at him, just a step off the third base line. And Clendenin very close to the line at first. Ground ball to short. Bud Harrelson throw to Clendenin, 2 down. The Orioles' last chance now is Frank Robinson. Fly to deep right center in the first, grounded to short in the fourth, and fly to center in the seventh. Only 90 pitches have been thrown in this game by Jerry Koosman. And now they're going to put 4 outfielders against Robinson. Al Weiss is going out to left field, the second baseman. In the left center goes Jones. Agee goes to right center, and Swoboda's in right field. 4 outfielders are now defense. Gil Hodges did this against certain dangerous long ball hitters certain times during the season. So a special defense of 4 outfielders and 3 infielders now aligned against Frank Robinson. Trying to keep the ball from going in the gaps or in the corners. Gil Hodges sitting down. He hasn't made many mistakes this year. Ball 1. But he did a great job managing over at Washington in the American League, too. Two down, nobody on. 1 ball, no strike. A strike on a fastball. 1-1. Something, a Robinson flat out to the second baseman in deep left field. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Frank Robinson. Koosman throwing just as hard now as he did in the first inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Curve is a little bit low. 2-2. Robinson can hit to right field. Maybe try to go to that open right side of the infield, if he can. 2-2 count. Fouled, out of play. Mets are leading 2-1. The Orioles have 2 down, nobody on, and a 2-2 count to Frank Robinson. Three and 2. A 3-2 pitch. He walked him. The Orioles have the tying run on. Now Al Weiss is going to have a runner for Frank Robinson, who has a bad leg, evidently. Rettenmund is coming in to run for Robinson at first. Al Weiss comes from left field back to second base. Merv Rettenmund now running at first. And Frank Robinson, who is hobbled evidently with a bad left leg. You can see him limping as he goes into the dugout. Rube Walker's gone out to talk to Koosman. Don Clendenin's there on the mound. And the dangerous Boog Powell's up. Struck out, grounded out, popped up. Two hits, and 2 walks. All that Koosman has allowed today. He has struck out 4. Ball 1, coming in with that crossfire delivery against the left-handed batter. Brooks Robinson on deck. Rettenman at first, 2 down. Foul back. One and 1 to Powell. Trying to hold Rettenman close. Curve is ball 2. Brody blocking it out in front of him as the catcher should do. 2 balls and a strike. Tuggs McGraw, Ron Taylor, still loosening up in the net bullpen. Three and 1. Now Ed Charles wants to come over and talk to Koosman. He's pitching fine, of course, to Frank Robinson and to Powell. You have to. Let's see what he gives him now on 3 and 1 with 2 down. Rettenman at first. Tip. 3 and 2. 2 down. Rettenman will be running on the 5th. There goes Rettenman. Ball 4. Brooks Robinson. Gil Hodges now, the manager of the Mets, is coming out. Speaking of comebacks, what a comeback he made. We said hello to him on a World Series last year when he was in the hospital with a heart attack. And here he is now managing in a World Series a year later. Where the managers earn their money right now with the decision. Leave him in or take him out. He's going to take him out, and Ron Taylor. Ron Taylor is going to come in to pitch to Brooks Robinson. He should get a tremendous ovation, Koosman. What a game he pitched here today.
Kurt, Koosman came within 1 out and pitching a complete ball game. He was extremely strong through the middle innings when he retired 13 in a row. There's a break in the action right here at Baltimore with a score in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Mets 2 and the Orioles 1.
The river's a giant, blind and strong, sweeping and driving the logs along, pushing them up on the rocks and the shore, till the men set them free to go tumbling once more. The treacherous jams will tax all their skill as the bold, hardy loggers press on to the mill. But their task never ends till the long drive is done, and the satisfied loggers have conquered the run. Then their reward is an O'Keefe ale. It's smoother than the rest. Yes, O'Keefe is the ale these men enjoy. O'Keefe ale satisfies best. O'Keefe ale, the right ale for right now.
Right after we sign off here in this World Series game in Baltimore, you'll see one of the following games of American Football League action. Either the New York Jets at Cincinnati, Houston at Kansas City, or the Oakland Raiders against the Denver Broncos at Denver. Ron Taylor who pitched yesterday 2 innings, allowing no hits, no runs of relief. 31 years old, born and lives in Toronto, Ontario. He won 9 and lost 4 for the Mets this year, had 13 saves, and an earned run average of 2.72. Brooks Robinson came up with 2 down, and Paul Blair on second in the 7th and singled him home. After 2 outs, Kuzma walked Frank Robinson and Boog Powell. Well, the Mets are still trying to get this last out. It's always the hardest one. They nearly hit him. Ball 1 to Brooks Robinson. Gary Kuzma went 8 2/3 innings, allowed only 2 hits, both those hits coming in the 7th. 1 run. He's responsible for the 2 men on. He walked 3 and he struck out 4. Reddeman on second. Yesterday, Taylor struck out Brooks Robinson for the last out of the Orioles' 8th. 1 ball, no strikes. They play Robinson straight away. A check swing. Ball 2. Started, held on. See that look he gave umpire Satori. Just to say you call that one right. 2 balls and no strikes. Reddeman at second, Boog Powell at first. Curve is in, 2-1. You may be saying to Taylor, you better get down a little bit, those pitches. It's been up high to Robinson. 2 balls and a strike. Three and 1. Doug McGraw still warming up in the Met bullpen, a left-hander. Robinson swinging at an outside pitch. That looked like ball 4 for sure. 3 and 2 now. 2 down. The runners will be going. Redmond at second. Powell at first. Said, let's go. 3 and 2. We're going. There go the runners. There's a ground ball to Charles. Makes the bag of throw to first. He had ideas to go to third. He would have been late there. He went to first. Glendenon dug it out of the dirt, and the Mets win it 2-1. Charles made a quick mental recovery on that one. What a ball game this was. In the 9th inning, Baltimore, no runs, no hits, no errors. They left 2. The final score, the New York Mets, 2 runs, 6 hits, and no errors. The Baltimore Orioles, 1 run.